Hey everyone, Hurricane Liz here, back for another video, and this time we're going to explore what you should be preparing at this very moment for the future. And we're talking about none other than February. What is selling well in February? And in order to figure that out, we're going to take that time machine and we're going to go back to February of 2019 to see what was hot, what was not, and what you should be producing in order to make the most amount of money. And I think the actual results will shock you guys. So I'm super fired up for this one. I certainly know my cat is a little fired up. She's sitting right here next to me. So let's go ahead and do this. All right, so here I am on my screen share, and as usual, we're going to use my absolute favorite tool to do this, which is Helium 10. And again, there is a link below for Helium 10 if you want to get it for yourself. And just to note, I do get an affiliate commission when you do actually sign up for that, but I was telling you, it's fire, and I use it all the time, particularly for the time machine exercise. So let me show you my settings, and let's get on with the show because we want to get as many ideas as possible in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So let's go and see what we've got. So in general, what I'm using is Black Box. All I do is I go over to Black Box here inside of Helium 10, and once there, I'm going to go down here and look at advanced filters and very specifically look for the sales period of February. And then one last thing, I don't want February of 2020, I want February of 2019, just so I could see what sold well in the past. And then final thing, I will almost always want to use a title keyword search with the actual category of books. So we want to make sure books is checked off. That's there. And I'll use 4 different actual keyword searches in this video, but the sky is the limit with the amount of keywords that you can use. And I will specifically use the title keyword search to look for these things. So the first things first, if there are any big holidays in February, that's the very first thing that I'm going to check out. Now, chances are I'm not really going to find anything because it is Valentine's Day. And I don't know, I don't think a lot of lovers are giving each other books, but I could be way off. Obviously, I guess books can be foreplay for nerds or people like that. But for other people, they're using other shit. So they're definitely not going to be looking in the books category. But let's still take a peek at the actual word Valentine. So I'm just going to look at Valentine. You can also put Valentines or Valentines with an apostrophe. Any one of those work. And then I'm going to hit search. And then away we go. It's seconds. And then here we go. Here's what we find here. And I'm guessing that we're going to find nothing but books. Now, the final thing that I like to do is I like to sort this by monthly sales because I want to see the highest amount of monthly sales. So I'm going to click on that once, sometimes twice in order to see what pops up. And here we go. Monthly revenue 861. This is a Frankenstein Valentine's, which just seems to be like a book. And it looks like so far there's just a bunch of really name brand type books like the Berenstain Bears. And we've got this Splat the Cat, who I've seen before. Now here's something interesting. While this is a book called Valentine Cat, it still gives me an idea to possibly create something in the KDP space using some sort of cat with Valentine's. Because, hey, let's face it, people love cats. Like, I don't even like cats that much, but I still have one. So what does that tell you about cats, right? My cat's pretty cool, even though I don't even like cats. And here we have more Berenstain Bears, a Snowy Valentine, which again gives another idea with somehow combining snow and Valentine's, and then Mad Libs. So looking at this Mad Libs, right away I come up with the idea of potentially fill-in books are going to sell like fire during Valentine's Day. We'll see if that turns out to be the case here as I scroll through the rest of these. We got Charlie Brown, we got Grover, who I think that is, with just Sesame Street, and then we've got both Vintage Valentines. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but so far all I'm really seeing is books, just like I predicted. We'll scroll and look through one more page, and then we're going to get into the goods. We're going to look at the real good stuff to where we'll find a limitless amount of ideas. So we've got still a bunch of brand name books and Cupid as a Valentine. We got Dora the Explorer. And here we are, the very first coloring book to land on the actual countdown. This coloring book says A Celebration of Love, adult coloring book by Life Splash. Valentine, relax, mindfulness, stress relief, stress-free, calm. Sounds to me like a name for nothing more than bullshit mandala coloring pages. I would be surprised if it was anything other than that, but I'm going to take a peek inside of it and see what we do see. And it completely looks totally lame. So I don't know, it looks lame. I could be completely wrong. I'm trying to click into it and we can see the couple first pages. But yeah, I'm right. Bullshit mandala drawing. So not too hard to be able to compete with something like that. And again, that's why I like to use this exercise to see what else is available. Here's another one, Doodle in Color, Be My Valentine, coloring book, art activity with 30 pages on love with hearts, Cupid, gifts, ducks, and flowers. Because we all know It's nothing more romantic on Valentine's Day than a duck, right? A duck. Most romantic thing you could get for your significant other. There's nothing more than Daffy Duck, or I don't know who else is a famous duck, in order to get them romantic and get them in the mood. You know, and cupcakes that hold hands too. That's all very romantic. So there you have those two. And it looks like those are probably the only ones that are going to land here on the top two. I see this little dog, Mr. Goat. Actually, that's a goat. That's a dog, not a dog, so excuse me. Here's another one, a Valentine coloring book with relaxing designs, which is a code word for mandala designs, which is a code word for probably not the best coloring book in the world. But I like what they put here. The cover looks very appealing. It's got flowers shaped in a heart. And it's nothing more than corny ass dumb words. And I know most of you are probably thinking at this point, Liz, you sound like you don't really like Valentine's too much. Get those grumpy pants off. Stop being a Debbie Downer. But this stuff just is really, like, I don't know. I imagine I'm the type of person where if somebody gave me a coloring book for Valentine's, I would seriously lose it and pretty much dump that person if I'm getting a coloring book for Valentine's. I hope that you guys out there are the same type of people, because if not, I would hope something better for you other than a mandala book with a lot of bullshit words on it. That's right. I said it. So that's all we're seeing, but that's what's dominating the charts in February. Here's a Try Not to Laugh book, which we've seen those many times. But let's go ahead and go into the goods. Let's forget about Valentine's Day. Let's look at some good stuff here. All right, let's start by going with coloring, right? Let's look at the word coloring. Now, if I were you, I would look at coloring, I would look at activity, I would look at journal, and I would look at diary, and I would look at any other category that you sell in, be it log books, be it journals, which we already said, be it any kind of actual niche you're in. That's what I would look for. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to go ahead and roll with coloring book. And let's see what we pop up with. So let's go ahead and sort this also by monthly revenue, because we want to see what's making the most money. A lot of times, don't be too concerned with this amount of money here. Even though it seems low, it really isn't, because trust me when I say that it will pick up during the actual date. This is just a guesstimate. So they're trying to give you the best possible guess, but most of the time it's way off. We just want to look at this from a popularity perspective. So let's see what we find. Here's Valentine's Cat again. All right, so I didn't fit search. Here we are, search now. We've got this particular book right here, which is a toddler coloring book. 100 pages of things that go, cars, trains, tractors, trucks, coloring book for kids ages 2 to 4, which is surprising, right? It is not a Valentine's book, but that's, like I said, typically the thing that I see all year round is that really solid evergreen books will sell no matter which holiday they are, because people are gifting to others all year round. So here's an interesting one that is somewhat Valentine's. It's Flora Bounds, a flower coloring book. That one does pretty well, as does this coloring book for adults, Relaxation, 100 Magical Mandalas. This seems to be the actual theme of the video. And then we've got Myth and Magic, an enchanted fantasy coloring book. That looks very nice. It looks like some great art. Here's a message canvas Bible, and I've seen this one before, the Country Farms coloring book. Here's a Peaceful Paisley's adult coloring book. So one theme that I'm clearly seeing that sells well in February is some type of flowers. Any kind of flowers in it, butterflies or romantic things, are selling extremely well, especially mandalas. Here we go, a Colorful Quilts adult coloring book, which is just nothing more than quilts. And then a Jewelry Box coloring book. So there's really a lot of them. And then here comes, again, more my style of coloring book, the bullshit 50 swear words to color your anger away. I guess I might actually need that. So I don't know, maybe I need that, but this one seems pretty cool. There's also, let's see what else we find. The Art of Nature coloring book. Again, Birdtopia and her flowers. Anything that sort of promotes romanticism, like beautiful flowers and birds, Celtic symbols, and Lacey Sunshine, the Sunshine Hobos coloring book, as well as Art of Coloring Maps of the Disney Parks. Now, I don't know if that's trademark infringing, but we've talked about this actual type of coloring book before when we talked about Lake, I don't know what the hell, and also when we talked about a theme park one that we saw the other week ago. Anytime you do some sort of geographic coloring book that covers different parts of different places, you can create an entire series of it. Somebody just happened to create a Disney Maps coloring book. Now, I don't know if that is trademark infringing. It probably is. There is a possibility that it is Disney themselves, as it does says brand Disney Editions, but that doesn't really mean anything. That could be somebody that just named the brand Disney Editions to try and fall under the radar with Amazon. Again, more birds, and let's keep going forward, and then we'll go and type in diaries and journals, and then we'll stop there. So a dinosaur adult coloring book, And we've got just a ton of coloring books that are doing pretty well. Nice Little Town adult coloring books. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, except they just inventively, magically make up something called a nice little town. More mandalas, and then more cute unicorns with chibis. As I talked about in another video, you slap that unicorn on anything and it will sell. Especially if you can do some advertising and things of that nature, and especially if the unicorn's cute. Unicorns will sell anything, anywhere. I could slap a unicorn on ice and sell it in Alaska. That's how certain I am about the power of the unicorn. And we got an anatomy book, an adult coloring book with mandalas, a lot of adult coloring books with mandalas, as well as flowers and patterns and things like that, and hearts. And so let's go into the last one. Here's the I Love You Big Valentine's Day coloring book for toddlers and preschool kids. So again, we talked about in a previous video how if you put the age on the actual cover of the book, it does extremely well. That's exactly the case with this one here. So let's go and use one more word and then we'll call it a day. You guys can use the rest of the words on your own, but I'm gonna go and hit journal and then I'm gonna hit search and we're gonna see what pops up. All right, so here we have the infamous Knock Knock What I Love About You Fill in the Blank book, which I've actually bought one of these. They're fantastic. They're fill in the blank books. You can make your very own fill in the blank book. This particular brand just has happened to take off and dominate the space, but that doesn't mean there's no room for you guys, right? You guys can get a little piece of the pie also. That pie is delicious. I hope that you decide to take a little bite. Hopefully it turns into a little nibble and then hopefully it turns into a heck of a lot more because I care about the success of each and every one of you. So we've got a Q&A 3-year journal for people. We've talked about this in a previous video. Draw your day, an inspiring guide to keeping a sketch journal. I like this one a lot. It's really cool. Here's our bucket list adventures, which is another great one. And here's some more fill-in books. So a lot more fill-in books. Here's one about mom and filling in about mom. Let's go and order this. I don't even think I put this in order, but let's see what makes the absolute most amount of money in this actual niche. And it is going to be that I Love You book. And yeah, I did order it out, so it looks to be working just fine. A bucket list. The bucket list book seems to do well. We've seen that's the second one we've already seen. A Year with You keepsake journal. Okay, so this book right here, this love story book, is a couples book where you fill in the blank together. So I think it's very inventive, it's very cool, and I think it's definitely a fantastic complimentary Valentine's Day gift. So I really think that this is a fantastic idea to do. I haven't seen very many of them, and maybe it's just I've never looked in the February section, but I think you could be very creative, very inventive with this and really come out with a banger that does extremely, extremely well. So I'm seeing that one, and I believe I saw another one a minute ago, but there's plenty of ideas here in the journal section for these types of actual books. Here's a workout journal because obviously it's February. People still have not quit the gym yet. They're almost on the verge. This is probably the last week that they retain their gym membership before they go back to being themselves. The new year, new you has worn off, and now the gyms are empty. So the best time to join a gym is probably in February, mid-February, when everybody's already quit. Now there's a gratitude journal. Here is a sketchbook journal and a notary public journal, which is pretty much standard. We've seen a lot of these, and we've seen this Quieting Your Heart, a 30-day prayer journal. So we've definitely seen a ton of those. So really, letters to my future husband. This is interesting. And the reason why I think this is interesting is because of the simple fact that there are a lot of people alone for Valentine's Day. And I think this is a fantastic way for people to kind of get through that period of time where they are single and kind of feel encouraged or feel like they could find, in this case, a husband. So definitely you can give this to your needy friends. I think it would be a great gift idea to particularly give your needy friends during Valentine's Day, because they're going to need to cuddle up with something since they don't have a husband or a boyfriend to cuddle up with. So fantastic gift idea. I would certainly do a play on words on this one or different fonts and try to put one of these out and do some advertising on it. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here. Here's a Queen Bee chic Queen Bee notebook for women. So a lot of interesting ideas. Again, a weathering journal, which I've never actually really seen, so that's pretty interesting. I guess that's for people that like to watch what the meteorologist has to say. I really have no idea who would actually buy this thing, but trust me, there are people out there that buy all sorts of shit. I've sold it. So with that being said, I think that's a perfect note to end this actual video on. Now remember, if you need other additional words, use words like diaries, activities, and logbooks. Anything that you make or any niche that you specialize in, use that word on this actual tool to find as many and multiple ideas as you can. So as usual, put your questions and comments below. I always personally answer them, and I will see you all in the next video.